Aloha, you're watching F5 at VMworld2015 here in San Francisco. F5 and VMware have been partners for a number of years, and I'm thrilled to have Justin Venezia. He's our senior solutions architect, kind of the technical guy behind our F5 VMware partnership, right, Justin?
That's correct. Good to have you here.
Nice to see you, Justin. Now, over the years, there's been this, 2 years ago, this hot term was BYOD, bring your own device. And it was all about, people wanting to use their mobile devices in the workplace. And now it's kind of transformed to this new term of BYOT, bring your own technology into the workplace. And maybe a lot of this, the Internet of Things and our watches and other gadgets getting hooked up. So tell me a little bit about this transformation from just the device to now technology and some of the challenges organizations face in that.
Well, I like looking at BYOT as providing a simple, seamless end-user experience, and that really should be on any type of technology platform the user brings. It could be a mobile device, it could be a laptop, it could be a tablet.
Yep.
And really keeping that experience uniform is more of the bring your own experience to work, if you want to call it that. But really just making sure that user has the right experience, the same experience when they move from device to device, when they move from network to network, when they move from location to location. And really that's where the transformation is coming in. And then when you overlay some of those mobility challenges, device challenges, you really also have to make sure that the security experience is also seamless as well. How do we make sure we're delivering our stuff seamlessly and securely to that end user?
Now, you were talking about device challenges and security challenges, and a sales rep on the East Coast, running off to a sales call, their device and security challenges are a lot different than, say, the CFO getting on a plane in LA for an analyst meeting. So talk a little bit about those differences.
So one of the main differences really behind the scenes is the data that those users will be accessing. So a CFO may be accessing sensitive financial information. It could include payroll, anything that really we wouldn't want to share outside of that. Whereas a salesperson would be more of a generic system, for example, like Salesforce, where they may be putting some of that information in the system where it's more readily accessible. The confidentiality or the importance of that information is not as significant as what the sensitive financials of a company may actually be. So having security controls in place to make sure that those users get the data that they get, whether they're inside the perimeter on a trusted network or outside the perimeter, is going to be important. And that really comes down to who that user is, where they're accessing from, and how secure their device is.
And so then, so you have, you got the two people and they're, trying to access their stuff, and then you got the IT guy in Chicago worrying about everybody out there. What are some of the things that he runs into?
So there's a couple things he has to worry about. So when you bring your own device or bring your own technology, you have to worry about the supportability of those devices first. So where does that line actually stop?
Yeah.
So that really comes down to policy and procedure. And actually, if you think about BYOD or BYOT, that's one of the main challenges, is how do I support somebody else's device? The other thing you have to worry about is with the, where the data at rest is. Does it sit on an endpoint? Is it in a specific container that we can control? How mobile is that device, and how can I control that data if there's a compromise? So that's the other thing that the IT administrator would worry about. The other area that I think they would worry about is how do they secure and trust that endpoint? So how do they manage it? How do we control what's relevant to the company on that person's personal device? And how do we really take it on, take it off? How do we validate who they are?
Yep.
Because again, a device can leave somebody's hand. There's apps that have cached credentials. That app could be open, and if that app is open or and that device is compromised, data is accessible. So it's really the whole range of things that an IT administrator would worry about. And
I'm sure employees, there's this separation of data. Just I don't want them accessing, my pictures and my personal stuff. And the solution between F5 and VMware completely kind of separates that personal realm and the business realm on the phone, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So with the partnership we have with VMware, specifically the AirWatch division, it allows us to bring the best of both worlds. We can provide an area of security for those users to keep their corporate data secure and accessible. Also provides the IT administrators with a level of control, so if there is a separation of an employee or the device is lost, we have the ability to remove what's specific to that company while not even touching what's really the user's personal data. In addition to that, we have controls, especially on the F5 side, with our APM product, where we can deliver a per app, per container, or full VPN, so when that user clicks on, we can get them to the right place and really control where they can go, who they are, and really, even on a device posture level, we can really say, does that device pass? And if that device doesn't pass those checks, we're not going to give them access to any of their resources that sit in that protected company container. So there's really a lot of leveled controls in place to really make sure that we're protecting the data, we're protecting the device to an extent that what's relevant to the company, and we're really making sure we're doing the appropriate identity management.
And this really rolls into all of the other solutions really that we work in conjunction with, because all the other elements kind of come into play, excuse me, with this whole end user computing piece, doesn't it?
It actually does. So all the solutions really come down to the F5 Big IP as your point of control with the perimeter. So let's say you wanted to do a hybrid environment of mobile devices with, you have per app VPNs, and you have Horizon View, or you have VMware Workspace Portal. With APM, we can provide that single source of identity management, that single source of control, and allow users to ingress and egress the network and control the data that passes in the apps that they access. So it really brings the solution together. It keeps the solution simple, which is the other thing. Security by complexity is good, but when something breaks, it's very hard to troubleshoot.
Yep.
We are a firewall. We are a proxy by default, so we can do a lot of that security right at the perimeter. And provide the security controls and mechanisms that companies are really looking for. And
I still think one of the most interesting things over the years is this kind of walking away from these full layer 3 VPNs, and instead of now today where it's just a single encrypted tunnel to that application, and that's the only thing going across there.
Yep. And there's a lot of ways. As I said, it really depends on the company's position, and the flexibility of the Big IP is we can, in partnership with AirWatch, and a lot of the end-user computing solutions that VMware has, is we can layer all those levels of security on that they want. The level of access, the type of access, whether it be that per-app VPN, whether you want to do endpoint management, any of those things really gives the customer, the ability to customize their security profile and posture at the perimeter.
Right. Realize the virtual possibilities, right?
Absolutely.
For business mobility. So I really appreciate your time, Justin.
Cool.
Very interesting conversation. A lot more about a lot of organizations out there are having challenges with business mobility and people bringing their own devices. Yep. All of these other things getting connected to the Wi-Fi. So some cool information about how F5 and VMware kind of solves a lot of these business mobility challenges. Thanks a lot, Justin. First time on the show?
Yes, it is.
Give him a shaka. All right, so
Earth,
for
Wind,
Justin,
and Fire. No Shaka Khan.
I got my producers, Swanti and Nathan right over there. I love you, Nathan. I'm Peter, and we're with F5 Networks. Thanks for watching.